One of those impulse buys from Indicator has arrived, and it is the Adventures series, a 70s sex comedy, and I jumped into the first one in this series, which was Adventures of a Taxi Driver, which came out in 1976. It stars Barry Evans as Joe North, a taxi driver. But before I get into the story, I just wanted to say how kind of shocked I was with this. A movie that was probably edgy, titillating, something on the cusp of just not being socially acceptable in the mid-70s, nowadays just looks rather toothless, mild, almost forgettable, a kind of fluff piece of a movie. Not to say that it's not without its benefits, because of the main character of Joe, which I really kind of liked. And it may be the fact that he often breaks the fourth wall to talk to us, the viewer, about the shenanigans and the situations that he gets himself in, of which there are many.
I tell you what would cheer me up, be to pick up a nice bit of crumpet. Very handy for introductions, this motor.
Usually involving someone getting naked. Sometimes even having sex, although most of the time not. Joe is a kind of character with a caricatured home life. He has a caricatured life in general. He is a taxi driver looking to make ends meet and looking to meet as many women as he possibly can, even though he may possibly be engaged.
She fancies me, I can tell. I could pull this one dead easy, no problem.
And we kind of watch his crazy, wacky adventures as he kind of traverses the land, meeting people, getting them into almost bed, where something hilarious, supposed to be, but often not, happens, and they have to escape that situation. It feels almost like a movie of vignettes, just silly situations that are sometimes amusing, sometimes just plain silly, but very watchable at the same time.
Jesus.
It's a bit stiff.
It won't be the only thing if she carries on like this.
Adventures of a Taxi Driver didn't really live up much to its kind of titillating reputation that it has. It is rather silly, but like I said, I like Barry Evans as Joe. I find him an endearing character, one that I wanted to follow. The situations that arise are just straight out of just somebody's imagination. It's just pulled out of nowhere. They are silly. There's no really connectivity about it other than he's a taxi driver and somehow within a couple of conversations can work somebody out of their clothes and into bed.
Something tells me this could be my lucky night.
But I kind of liked the look and the feel of the movie. I liked seeing that 70s London, the decor, the production standards. It was all kind of fun. The humour doesn't often land. I doubt it did back in the 70s. It was more probably about the titillation aspect of this. But again, I was enamoured by the movie. I did find it rather amusing at times, and it was all because of that main performance, I think, that really drove it forward, and an awesome theme song that is played many times throughout the movie, but it never gets old. It's always welcome to return and create that funny moments. Like I said, a lot of the situations are rather silly, and then when it gets to the finale of the movie, it feels a need to escalate things and bring in certain elements that have been drip fed to us throughout the film to create a kind of climax to the film. Not that kind of climax. No, I'm talking about police, robbery, inadvertently being dragged into a situation, and a lot of misgivings throughout it.
Christ, Joe, mate, just call
Get going, Mr. Fast. Never mind now, just drive.
How am I wrong?
Surprisingly, I rather enjoyed Adventures in Taxi Driving. I was a little bit worried going into it that it wasn't going to be anything that I really enjoyed. Now, I do think it is dated quite badly as well, and I think a lot of the thematics and a lot of the situations that are here are misrepresented, but it's a time, it's a place, it's a time capsule. You get to see into that world and things that were deemed appropriate and acceptable then. I'm kind of curious about moving on with the rest of this series. Now, I don't know if Barry Evans appears in the other movies, but I am willing to give them a shot. And I'm a little bit more optimistic this time around, even though generally series drop off. But we shall find out. I would love to know if you picked up the Adventures box set. Have you watched any of the movies? Did you enjoy it? What are your memories of these films? Please let me know in the comment box below. We can have a little discussion about it. Get some of your thoughts on these movies, which I would love to read. As always, there's more content up here. You can see more of my stuff. Hit this video with a like button because it does all that wacky algorithm stuff behind the scenes, which even I don't know about. And in the description box there is a link to my Patreon, a membership program, if you want to see more of my stuff. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Man v Film.